Hello, everybody, and welcome to your favorite semi-annual weekly podcast, the PurpleCast. On this episode, we will be discussing the good, the bad, and the ugly of E3 2016. I am your host, the guy who wrangled my two friends tonight, Andy. And with me, I've got...
me, Lilith, the token kinda gay one.
And then the fun one, Haha, or Ethan.
So, how about that,
yeah, let's talk about E3.
3 days of E3 that felt like kind of nothing happened.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, last year's E3 2015 was such a, Bethesda really kicked it off with bringing Fallout 4 and Fallout Shelter out of thin air.
Yep.
Well, Fallout 4 we kind of knew was going to happen, but it's been teased for like 2 years by non-Bethesda people. And then
we weren't expecting Bethesda to come out and say it's going to be out this year.
Oh,
Everybody was saying it'll be out like next year or the year afterwards. There's no way it's going to be out this year, and then bam, it was out.
Especially with the trend in the last few years where every game is announced 3 years in advance. I'm looking at you, Mass Effect. God. They've been at the last 2 or 3 E3s with nothing. They've just said we're still making a game.
It's been 3 now.
And Battlefront did that twice. They announced the game, then they had nothing, then they
launched the game with the same amount of content that they teased it with.
You're not wrong, but I still like to play it.
Yeah, it's a fun game, but I think that they should call it like Battlefield Galactic Civil War instead of Battlefront. But
yeah, or Battlefield Star Wars something. And there's gonna be that Bespin DLC.
Yeah, I said Galactic Civil War because it only covers one era.
Yeah. Oh, that trailer for the Bespin DLC kind of threw me off a bit, where they have Imperial guards holding blaster rifles.
I feel like there should be Imperial guards that they need to have the Imperial guards with their what are they called? Do they have saber staffs?
They have force pikes, which actually have no relation to the Force. They're just like a stun stick.
Huh. Back to E3.
Yeah, getting on a nerd tangent. Let's get on a different nerd tangent. So we're going to start off talking about the good, the things that we like, the things that we might think other people will like, the things that generally presented well. Basically,
things that weren't booty.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the EA conference towards the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
That didn't do a whole lot. But something good that did come out of E3, out of EA. I keep saying that. We were doing that when we were setting up. I kept saying E3 instead of EA. But EA did show off a lot of Titanfall 2 stuff, which looks
Battlefield.
Really, yeah, but we already seen Battlefield 1 stuff, and they didn't really show a whole lot new, did they?
Yeah,
so as far
as gameplay,
yeah,
there was never gameplay out before.
Quote unquote gameplay. It's just a cinematic trailer with maybe some gameplay elements. It's free.
Andy, you realize that there were demos. There was gameplay.
There was an hour of multiplayer.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, you could literally watch Snoop Dogg smoke weed while he was playing Battlefield 1. I swear to God, he was there smoking weed while playing Battlefield 1.
Wiz and Snoop Dogg were smoking weed together.
Alright. I stand corrected. I must have missed that amazing display.
There's actually a picture of, because Wiz and Bernie Burns were standing next to each other.
I heard about that.
And Wiz is smoking, and Bernie has like this look of like pure need. I heard on I forget which pod. I think it was I guess the RT podcast. They were talking about I don't know. Maybe it was the patch. I don't know. Basically, he got contact high. He got secondhand high. That's nice. Yeah. The whole Battlefield showcase was really good. I felt like they handled that really well, along with Titanfall. And I'm not a big sports fan myself, but they did do a lot of good work with the stuff that they have. It makes sense that they would have such a big chunk there, because that's probably where a good majority of their money is at.
EA always has a big sports chunk.
Like, I was actually really surprised with this year's FIFA having like a branching story, which sounds kind of weird, but it makes sense. Like, looks like it's set up as like those like dramatized sports documentaries.
I like the image where someone superimposed the Mass Effect dialogue wheel over the guys in the locker room or whatever.
I think this might be enough about EA, though. I think we have some stuff to cover at the end with them.
Well, oh yeah, but there's not a whole lot to discuss at the beginning because they didn't show.
I actually
a
have
whole
a few
lot
things
of
to
new
talk
stuff.
about as far as the good. There was actually a lot of good stuff at the C3.
But there was. Do we agree that there was really not a whole lot of reason for EA to have their own separate conference?
Oh yeah.
Event?
No, there was no reason.
If they were going to do it, this was a bad year to do it.
Well, I believe the reason that they were going to do it is because they wanted to open it up to the public, and also it was, if they didn't have that much to show, it was probably cheaper to buy their own venue or rent their own venue.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not an accountant. I don't know. I'm not crunching numbers. I'm just a guy with a phone looking at.
So since this is the good, who do you guys think did their best at E3? Because I actually have two myself.
Well, Bethesda. This is only their second conference, right? Ever?
Yeah. I think Bethesda did it good.
Bethesda did really well. I didn't get to see a whole lot of the other conferences live because
I didn't see any.
I was working. I got to see the Bethesda one live, and I basically looked on Reddit for summaries of the other conferences.
I watched a majority of Xbox, majority of Sony. I didn't watch. Did Ubi have one this year?
I know.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that, but then it was just Aisha Tyler, John with some guy on stage, and I got bored.
Okay, so yeah, I think the best for me was Microsoft and Sony.
I hear Sony had a good one. I've actually got some stuff.
Yeah,
on
Sony
here.
did.
I have
they
a
did
really
their usual all games thing, and then I think they talked about their consoles a little bit, but it was majority games, and all of their games seemed somewhat interesting. And then Microsoft did good. They had like their consoles, and they had something that I haven't seen recently out of Microsoft is where they talked about some indie games that were relatively interesting. They didn't talk about fucking DayZ developers bullshit. They just talked about their games that they are going to be coming out. We Happy Few, I think, becomes a preview game next month.
That's like a psychological thriller, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like your BioShock or your if you guys have ever read the book Brave New World, it's like that.
There's two games that I'm pretty sure both came from the PlayStation conference that I'm really excited about, being Resident Evil 7 and Death's Gambit is what it's called.
Or something like that. Was that the one with naked Norman Reedus clutching a baby?
No, that's
made me uncomfortable.
That's Death Stranding.
Okay.
One I'm talking about, it's a side scroller.
Okay.
Oh, that game, yeah.
That new Kojima thing made me uncomfortable to watch.
I actually saw a meme the other day, and it was actually I sent it to Ethan. I'll look it up. It was the cover art for that game, the Kojima game, and it said like, "Suck my dick, you pachinko machine fucks." I watched the gameplay trailer for God of War 4. Looked fun. I don't really see the point. Like, is he just like angry at all gods now? So he's not going to go after the Norse gods now because reasons. I think he also has a kid now, which is interesting.
What's the point with God of War 2? You'd think that after he kills the god of war...
Is it 4 or 3?
I mean, you think that when he kills the god of war that his journey would be done, but it's just what kind of game is God of War? Hack and slash kind of deal?
It's kind of like your action third person, I think.
Okay. I mean, if you can make that fun repeatedly, then I don't see why not. But this is technically the 5th installment in the franchise, right? Because there was God of War subtext or something. God of War subtitle. Like
I'm not a big Sony person. I haven't had a Sony console since PlayStation 2, so
I am I like how the game looks, but I am upset that this new Spider-Man game is a PlayStation 4 only game.
Yeah, I watched the trailer when you talked about it because I didn't even hear about it before, and it reminds me of the old Spider-Man games that came out with the Tobey Maguire movies. Yeah, it looks awesome.
I've heard a lot of comparisons to Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
that game.
I played Spider-Man 1 on the PS2. I never played the second one.
I played the old school Spider-Man for back in the PlayStation 1 era, but I had it for PC. But I had a faulty disc where I could not progress to the Scorpion level, which was like level 2. I just played the first level over and over again.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I have memories like that with games where, like, when you're younger, you just keep playing the same thing over and over again, and it's always fun to you.
Yeah, it was fun. I also played Ultimate Spider-Man, which was fantastic, and Web of Shadows, which was, I don't know, I guess the last good Spider-Man game. I mean, the Amazing Spider-Man movie tie-in game I liked, but it didn't review terribly well. I thought it was fun.
We were talking about some psychological stuff with We Happy Few earlier. Something else that I thought was interesting, I've never played this series before, was Prey at Bethesda's conference. Looked really interesting.
That's like that confused a lot of people, though, because Prey is a different IP entirely, isn't it?
No, it's a reimagining from the ideas of id, I think.
Oh, okay.
ID.
No, but you call it id.
I've never heard that before.
They called themselves at the conference, so that's what I'm going with.
Yeah. Yeah, that looked cool. I'd like to see more of it, though.
Yeah, I wish that games, like, it seems like it to be something that's becoming a thing now, but I like games that focus on the human mind and shit and can make it interesting.
Those tend to be scary, though, and I don't do well with scary.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be pop-out scary, but if it's, like, existential scary, it's kind of cool.
You guys do know that Prey was, like, I'm not sure if you guys said this, but Prey was already in a game once. You guys know that, right?
Yeah, I'm saying I've never played the series before.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure you guys knew. Resident Evil 7.
Oh, was that the Sony conference?
Yeah, Resident Evil 7. There's a lot of people who are actually pretty disappointed that they're going the first person. And I mean,
I feel like the series should do that. It'd probably make it a better series.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, because that's one thing that happened, like with Resident Evil 4, going from like all the other ones. That was the first game going to third person, like over the shoulder, and everyone thought that was going to be terrible. And now that's like, besides Resident Evil 2, that's one of the most loved games out of them all.
I don't like playing the original Resident Evil games because of that, like, security camera view.
Oh, I love that.
The thing is,
it makes it so much scarier.
People criticize the Resident Evil 7 thing, but those same people are, like you said, they're forgetting that Resident Evil has changed itself up in so many ways over the years. Like Resident Evil 6 is nothing like the first game.
Oh yeah, 6.
Well,
yeah,
6
went. Yeah, 6 is the bottom. Like that was.
It's understandable though. Like you're trying so many
true.
different things.
Operation
eventually, one of them are not going to stick.
I do find
but that was terrible.
I do find it a little suspect, however, that this Resident Evil 7 thing was PT last year's E3.
I think, yeah, it does definitely look kind of like it, but there's a lot of games that are like that now, first person, like no weapons, like stuff like that, like Outlast.
Well, doesn't Resident Evil 7 have weapons?
I don't think it'll be really heavy on weapons. Like the demo didn't have any. I think they've said that they're really not going to be too heavy with it, which is one thing people are kind of worried about.
We have to bear in mind, though, that the demo was explicitly stated that none of that is going to be in the
game.
I
know, but I'm saying that like the demo didn't show any type of weaponry, saying that there might not be weapons in it. That might not be it, but I'm just saying.
That's kind of weird.
But aside from Resident Evil 7, the only other thing I thought, besides Kojima's thing, the other thing I thought looked good was Death's Gambit. It's like basically a side-scroller Dark Souls, not made by the people who make Dark Souls, and has like instead of having actual souls, it has hope. Like it's basically the same type of game. It's really cool.
I guess I feel like I kind of have to mention the Crash Bandicoot Remastered Collection or whatever that was announced at the PS4.
That was like their flagship thing for a while, wasn't it?
Crash Bandicoot was Sony's Mario.
Yeah, I thought so.
And he went the way of
Sonic.
And yeah, Crash Bandicoot went the way of Spyro the Dragon, and you never heard from him again.
Actually, that's being made into a cartoon.
Crash did that before Spyro. As Mario kicked off this like platform mascot thing for Nintendo, and then as a response to that, Sega cooked up Sonic the Hedgehog, which has been on a very interesting decline over the years. I love the Sonic franchise just to watch it burn. It's hilarious.
Damn.
And Sony had Crash Bandicoot, which was a big deal. Even when I was a kid, my friends would play Crash Bandicoot. And then it just disappeared during one of the console iterations. I think the jump to PS3.
Didn't it get taken over by like Ratchet and Clank as like the mascot series?
I guess so. But like somewhere along like the jump to the PlayStation 3, nobody told Crash that they were moving. And then Spyro had some time in the spotlight
Spyro was the shit, man.
during the waning days of Crash Bandicoot, and Spyro survived for a little bit longer, but then just died out and then got absorbed into the Sky World thing. What's the?
It's Skylanders.
Skylanders. Yeah, that's it. And that kicked off the whole video game toy tie-in thing.
No one remembers UB Funkies? You guys know about those?
I don't know what those are.
Dude, UB Funkies, it was like this game on the computer I played when I was a kid. Like there was these weird little figures, and you got a big figure and you put them on top of it, and then that character would be generated into your game, and they had their own like little mini games, and it was like open world. Oh, it was so much fun.
Some games have done similar stuff to that. Like I guess you could say, like Digimon and Tamagotchi were like the granddaddy of all this, where you have a physical
Disney
toy
Infinity.
and your little avatar. But I guess it's kind of like, I think of that as like how VR has been done in the past, but it wasn't good, and now like with the Skylanders and the Amiibos and the Lego universe, people are doing it well now. They've got it figured out.
All right. Do we all feel good about moving on from?
Yeah, before we move on to like anything else, I want to go back to Bethesda really quick because there were a few things that we didn't talk about yet.
Yeah, I know what you're going to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Well, like, all right, so we didn't talk about really Bethesda at all, did we? So, first thing first, the Fallout 4 DLCs coming out.
Yeah.
2 Workshop, a big one.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. The contraption. We're recording this on. I guess it's technically now Sunday, and this is going to come out.
It's midnight.
It's going to come out Tuesday the 21st. No, it's not. I don't know why I said that. The DLC is coming out Tuesday the 21st. I don't know when this is coming out.
Yeah, this is midnight, because people work and we try to accommodate, and then they decide not to show up.
Like,
and then,
not naming any names, but I mean, this podcast is named after a certain individual who is not here.
Long days.
We can all agree if it's actually something important, we'll just cut that part out.
Nah, fuck it, keep it in.
We're gonna find out that like his dad died or something.
In his dad's memory, I'm keeping it in.
Another thing about Fallout 4 is they announced that they're gonna have VR in I think 2017 for the Vive, which I thought was pretty cool.
I hope it's not like that teleporty movement VR, because that's weird.
What?
If it's like just looking around VR, I'm cool with that. But if it's like the VR that you see in a lot of the games now, where you have to teleport from place to place because you can't walk.
I mean, I think you would still. What? I'm pretty sure you would still use your controller. You would just be able to look around with VR.
That's what I was thinking too. But if like it was as big as like your VR games that are around now, I hope it isn't like that. We didn't see anything from Microsoft's VR thing this year, did we?
No,
not really.
Not that I know
but I have here in my notes, PlayStation, Sony announced that they're going to have a gun controller for PlayStation VR that they're promising 1-to-1 precision with.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
The Wii had something like that. It was garbage.
Oh yeah, of course. The Wii, like the sun shone on the sensor in the wrong way, and your little cursor would go every which way.
Oh god, that was the worst.
I slogged through it and managed to play Super Mario Galaxy, though. Especially the worst part was those levels where you had to use the cursor as the fan when Mario was in a bubble. Those levels were bad enough. But
yeah.
when the cursor's going everywhere, you just can't do it.
Play it at night.
I played Modern Warfare 1 on the fucking Wii. That was an experience.
God, they put that over to the Wii?
Yeah,
they brought that World at War.
You got like in order to play it right though, you had to get like this gun that you had to put your controller on, and the top part would be the Wiimote, and then the nunchuck would be where you held the trigger area. And I think with that, you got like Link's crossbow training or something.
Yeah.
God,
But like this thing, like trying to play a Call of Duty game and moving around with this gun in your hand was horrible.
God, the Wii had too many peripherals. Like half the space under my bed is full of that crap with the what's it, the Wii Fit board and some lightsabers and like golf clubs, and I sold a fishing rod. That fucking thing.
No, I didn't get any of those. The only things I ever got was like the Wii Fit board. I have the Link's crossbow training gun. I have the Mario Kart wheel.
Well, yeah, the wheels, the steering wheels are the only good peripheral.
We don't even need them anyways. I know there was Resident Evil 4 on the Wii, which actually was supposed to be pretty good, but you did have to have a pistol for that. Mm. But it actually looked pretty fun. Like I'd play it probably.
We need to get through the good so we can get to the bad.
But more on Bethesda, Dishonored 2. I know you guys are excited for that.
I am jammed, and there's not enough minutes in a podcast to talk about it.
Dishonored 2, I watched the gameplay. I feel like it was a bad idea to put like a 15-minute segment of your conference on that one game, though. I thought that was a bad idea. Like, the gameplay and stuff is cool, but the people who had presented it were dead in personality. I have had no attachment while I was watching it.
Oh, yeah. It was an odd decision. I understand why they want to push Dishonored 2, especially because I loved the previous Dishonored so much, but a lot of people don't care. And I understand they want to push this and get people to care about it. But I don't know. It's, again, I'm not the one who has to come up with a solution. I think it can be done better, therefore it should be.
Yeah.
Just that kind of scenario, you know? I'm not the one who has to come up with a solution. Did we talk about Fallout 4 DLCs?
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
The only thing from Bethesda conference is Skyrim Remastered. Well, I'm really excited about Skyrim.
Yeah. Skyrim Remastered is coming out in what? October?
October 28th.
October. That's cool with console mods and everything. That's awesome. Like, for a console player, it's great. And if you own it on PC, if you own the Legendary Edition on the PC or all the DLC, you get the game for free anyways. So I don't really see a reason not to get it on any platform.
Yeah, that'll be great.
I do not intend on getting it.
Really?
Yeah. I already own Skyrim and all the DLCs.
Well, the reason why I intend on getting it just is purely for convenience and the console mods.
Yeah, I figure I'll probably, I might still be playing Fallout 4 around then as my RPG.
I really doubt it.
I mean, you might with Nuka World coming out in August. Yeah. It's possible.
Yeah, just a couple.
I mean, how long did it take Andy to finish Far Harbor?
I'm still not technically done.
Aren't we still counting? Yeah, we're still counting.
Yeah, I will be spoiling that. I'll be spoiling that for you afterwards.
I don't have the achievement that says I finished it, so technically I'm not done.
You didn't do no, you missed some stuff though.
Look, people started killing each other and I didn't like it, so I just kind of stopped that playthrough and started up a new one.
So, since we just talked about console mods, just a bit of a disclaimer, it might be proven that this is false by the time this comes out. But right now there seems to be mods on the Bethesda net that can brick the Xbox 360 console. Xbox One console.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, it's the person that has been claiming that they can do this right now has been DD Productions, who is a really well-known modder in the modding community, but he's been a major prick about console mods because of the mod theft and shit that's been happening. And it could be a joke. I've heard that it's a joke from a few sources, and I've also heard that it wasn't. So just right now, just take every mod that you're getting from DD Productions with a grain of salt.
Last thing for Skyrim. Last reason I'm really excited for it. New achievements for me to get on the one.
Of course you do.
Yeah, you're a bit of achievement nut.
You were so...
1,550 gamer score that I can get again.
We should have rebranded ourselves to Achievement Nuts.
I love that.
Would have just been...
We would have gotten sued or anything.
Right. So Bethesda and the other one are done. EA. Or part of EA.
We got it.
PlayStation,
That's
I mean.
in the bad.
That's in the booty.
Last thing to talk about for the good, I think, is Microsoft's conference.
Yeah.
Which opened up with... Fuck, what did they open up with?
I don't know what they opened up with, but Dead Rising 4 I'm excited about.
That'd be fun.
Much, just because I've just never been big into that series. But I am actually pretty excited for State of Decay 2.
Yes!
That looks fun.
I was about to talk about that. State of Decay finally has co-op like it should have always had.
Yeah, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
State of Decay, when was that? 2012?
I think 12, I believe.
And that it kind of came out of nowhere. Was that Summer of Arcade?
Actually, it might be 11.
I think it was Summer of Arcade.
Yeah, and it just kind of came out of nowhere, and it was like a overnight. I don't know if I want to call it a smash hit because I don't know the financials.
It was a relatively big hit. Like all of our friends were talking about it. Purple tried to make a machinima on it. You can find that on.
That gem. Yeah,
it was terrible.
As far as arcade games went, it was a success, I think.
Yeah. Summer of Arcade was actually something that I really wish that they would do again because there was a lot of interest.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of phased out the idea of of the Xbox Live Arcade now that you can get it digital.
Yeah, but now it's like I think that indie titles are something that should replace that. Like Xbox, I think at its core needs to bring up the indie product a bit more to really get the sales that they want. Like, that was actually last year what PS4 got praised for was having all these indie devs working games for PS4.
Careful what you say, because now we're gonna have Microsoft continually pushing this fucking Spy Chameleon shit on me. That game, this is some $2 indie game that has been in my recommended games on the Xbox Live Store for like 6 months. And
dude, is it really $2? Because I'll go buy it. I'm not even gonna lie.
Don't buy it. It looks awful. It is like
I have $2 on my account because because they gifted it to me. It was like, here, have $2, and I was like, okay.
It looks like somebody got fired from the ukulele development team and decided to make a game in their garage. And then made it top down and crappy looking. Even the principle that this game has been in my recommended games, I do not want anyone to buy it.
Okay.
Back
table.
Let's talk about the big one, and let's end the good.
Oh, no, we also have Halo Wars 2.
Don't you want to talk about the Nintendo conference for the good?
Yeah, I want to talk. I have one thing in Nintendo. Two things in Nintendo.
I haven't seen anything from that, so that's mainly your guys' gig.
God, maybe Nintendo ought to be the ugly, because they only announced 2 things. God knows why they
had
ugly?
But they had some pretty freaking good stuff with whatever they did.
Yeah, all 2 of them.
Yeah, so did EA. They announced 2 things, and everything else was not there. And the 2 things that they did announce was done well.
I mean, there's 3 good things that they talked about, but only 2 of them are really new information. Like, okay, Pokemon Sun and Moon is going to have a new battle mode called Battle Royale, which is a 4-player free-for-all. I don't know how that's going to play out, because, I mean, there's not going to be a whole lot of strategy there, is it? Is it just going to be attack everyone else? I don't know what you could do.
Lightning bolt.
I'm sure the competitive scene will come up with something.
My big thing for Nintendo, the new freaking Zelda that finally has a name, and that finally has a ton of gameplay and that we can watch. It looks so freaking good. Like,
yeah, actually, I did take a particular interest just because of the character creation suite.
Oh, no, like oh god, it looks so good. Even if you don't like Zelda, like people out there, or I know people out there who are just like RPGs in general want that game.
Talking about a character creator in Zelda? What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's not a character creator in Zelda. There's not.
I heard that there's a whole character creation suite.
No, you can customize your armor, but Link is Link.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure you could switch.
You cannot. You cannot.
Maybe you're thinking of Ever Oasis, their new IP they announced?
That thing looks like Animal Crossing, but fucking set in a different place.
Animal Crossing mixed with Zelda is what I've seen. I like Animal Crossing, don't get me wrong, but there can definitely be fatigue.
No. Yeah. Hey guys.
We got Messi joining us. He just got off work.
Always fun, but you know what? It was worth the 10-hour shift to make 230, but So you guys were talking about Animal
What are
Crossing,
you
right?
gonna go do? Buy more fucking Dota DLC or some shit? Actually, get on
Dota
Purple's account
DLC?
and buy a bunch of Dota DLC, but don't pay for it.
It's not DLC, man. It's skins.
No, but Animal Crossing, they've only released 4. Well, I mean, they have had these 2 knockoff side games, but those aren't true like Animal Crossing. Like an Animal Crossing game comes out like every 3 years probably, or a lot more.
On every platform. There's one on every platform.
Yeah, they've had one since the GameCube. They've had it on the GameCube, the DS, the Wii, and the 3DS. Now, I feel like they're probably, if they ever do make another, whenever they do make another one, they're probably gonna skip the Wii U and just go straight to NX, which I'll have to get NX then.
Well, the biggest problem with Animal Crossing is the fact that there's no change in gameplay throughout all the games.
No, there is.
There's
Well,
not
I mean,
a whole lot.
There's not a whole lot of change, but they do add new things, or like in City Folk they added the city, which was a cool little thing to do.
In New Leaf they added the mayor stuff.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty big change. I liked that. Having to do public works project, I love that. Man, that game's the bomb. I gotta play it.
What we're doing, Messi, is we're talking about E3 2016, but we're doing it in a good, the bad, and the ugly style. We're wrapping up the good right now, so we're going to move on to the bad, which is stuff that is...
We need to discuss Halo Wars to wrap it up, then.
I think that ought to go in the ugly, because I cannot play that.
It's the beta.
That's you.
9 months out from development.
And we're not talking about the beta, we're talking about the game being announced.
Also, they open up with Dominion, which is just an infantry rush.
It's a beta!
I stand by my statement.
They gotta test out their new game mode.
Tits. Let's talk about the goddamn teaser.
I want to talk about this shitty game we had to play last night called The Crew.
Hey, no,
that's not an E3. Let's fucking talk about E3.
But okay, so let's first focus on on their performance in showing the game.
Which game are we talking about now?
Halo Wars 2.
Halo Wars 2, okay.
Halo Wars 2 had a really good CGI trailer that I felt nailed the way that the games are played pretty well. The way you see Cutter and Atriox, which is the chieftain, approaching each other, and then Cutter would do one thing, and then Atriox would respond with a different thing, and it was just them constantly competing until they were standing next to each other face to face. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. And it really gameplay the chaos of the battles, where you have 2 massive armies of mixed units just kind of smashing against each other.
Yeah. Man, the details that have came out of E3 about the game are interesting also, with the game being set after Halo 5 and the game being set at the Ark, which is something that's interesting.
Wasn't the Ark destroyed, though?
No, it was badly damaged after Halo 3, and it was repaired by the Monitor and its Sentinels.
Oh, okay.
But what's the difference between Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2?
What do you mean?
Is it like a lot?
Like not necessarily like just like the way the game's played is a little bit different. Everything is a bit more it's a lot more dragged out. The beginning of the game is. It feels longer to get to your tier 3, which is endgame in the beta. So feels like it takes a bit longer. It's still like the same core upgrading and shit.
They just one thing. There better be Hawks in the final game, or I'll be very mad. No, I won't. I won't buy it. I won't buy it if there's not Hawks. I refuse. All right.
I'm going to be the skeptical one, because, I mean, everyone's going to gush over Halo Wars 2 because...
I'm a story guy, so that's what I care about, Messi.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get it, and I'm going to go through the story just to see it, even though I haven't played Halo Wars, or Halo 5, which is a little bit of a detriment. But, still, to me, though, the RTS style of Halo Wars 2 just isn't really kind of enticing to me too much.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, that's understandable. It's bare bones.
I am not a big RTS fan at all. I prefer turn-based, so I have enough time to think about what I'm doing. I don't think fast enough for RTS to work with me. But I really only play it because most of the rest of you guys play it.
Yeah. Well, the problem I always found with Halo Wars 1 is it seems like there's very little reason to diverse your army.
Absolutely.
it seemed like, oh hey, I'm gonna go all
changed.
Hawks. I'm gonna go like all like everything like of one
it just
thing,
depends
and then that was just
a lot of
annoying to me.
time depends on what the other team is going to be doing as well. Because like if you go out with all Hawks and they have like an army of like
Vampires.
Wolverines, you're gonna have to change it up. Like or vampires.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
the game basically plays as a really long, protracted game of rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
Bad joke.
The
Good joke. I'm standing by my analogy, Messi. It is there's
about-
like a million different units, and they're all like fall into these three categories of infantry, land, and air, and it's a rock, paper, scissors game.
That is true. Like literally, if you look in the manual for Halo Wars,
It does.
It actually has It says rock, paper, scissors. Air beats vehicles, vehicles beat infantry, and infantry beats air. Like it actually it does it like in a little cycle, like
Yeah.
very rock, paper, scissors game.
But that's almost something I don't like, because I mean, you guys know, but other people might not know that. Like, I compare any RTS to Warcraft, like Warcraft 3, Reign of Lich King, Frozen Throne. Like, if I tried to go and I tried to just use one unit in Warcraft 3, I would be decimated. Like, their hero alone would just kill me almost instantly. Like, if I was playing Night Elves and I just had all my what is it? I can't remember right now. The Hippogriff Riders, which are like really strong, but a good person would just destroy you. I feel like Halo Wars, like, it almost like encourages you to just like go all Grizzlies, go all Hawks. Like, it just, that was something I hated. Go all.
I can tell you with this game, the only thing with the beta that I've played a match of deathmatch and tons of matches of domination, and I can tell you that there's no reason not to diversify your armies in a game like deathmatch. I tried just doing all of one thing, and I've gotten absolutely fucking wrecked. So,
okay,
I know
I've yet
that
to play it, so I'll probably be playing it a little bit like tomorrow or something.
Yeah. From what I can tell, I've played Covenant recently, and I know if you can get a good balance of anti-everything, you'll do relatively well. But something that needs to be buffed with Halo Wars 2, or it actually needs to be either cut out or nerfed, is the fucking tier 5 command abilities. These things are so fucking overpowered. It's nuts. You can use a Pelican gunship thing, or a eradication, which is what the Banished use, and they can destroy a tier 3 base in probably 30 seconds.
That's absurd. Absurd? It's a
All
mixture
right.
of absurd and obscene. All the kids are using it.
And now that since I've gone negative, let's go straight into the bad.
Yes.
Yep. I want to start off with something that I'm a little upset by. Minor thing. Is that in Battlefield 1, in the base game, there will be no French or Russian armies,
Oh, they're not.
which are major players in World War One.
Guys, let's
seems
face
like
it. There shouldn't be French teams, because they would just end up surrendering.
That's World War Two.
Still.
It's a history rat, bitch.
Yeah, that
Well,
actually does kind of suck. I wouldn't be surprised though if in DLC they would add those multiplayer.
That was
maps.
also confirmed. Is that, I mean, the French army is going to be in campaign, but they are going to be added in a DLC down the road.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What I was gonna say though is like in the base game, like I was gonna say story-wise, they might only add the people who are part of the story, not like everyone. But
We don't know what the story is yet. So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
which is kind of surprising. Usually their first they just announced it, but it's coming out this year, so it kind of surprises me that they haven't touched on story at all yet.
Yeah.
It's probably just going to be Brothers in Arms style. You know?
People are thinking it's going to be based around the Harlem Hellfighters.
All right. Next thing.
Crackdown 3 was delayed to 2017.
I hated Crackdown
Nothing
1.
was shown at E3 about it. So
Nobody
Yeah, I
cares.
hated Crackdown 1, so I really could care less about that game.
What did you guys think about For Honor?
I didn't see any of that actually. I wanted to, but I didn't get it. I didn't get to it.
Me neither. That's Ubisoft's answer to Chivalry, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think.
I saw it at last E3. I thought it looked really interesting.
And then they stopped talking about it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming out actually fairly soon. I believe it's next year, like the beginning of next year, Q1.
Yeah, start marketing that shit then. I haven't heard anything about it since last year.
Yeah, and it looks cool. The combat style looks really cool.
Where it's like people from like different cultures and they're fighting each other.
There's Viking knights and samurai.
Yeah.
Right now, they'll probably add DLC where they'll add like African tribes, Native Americans.
Samurai.
That'd be cool. Like having the Zulu in there, that'd be awesome. But I like the style of combat that they choose to do, but it looks like it's going to fall into the problems that like a lot of hack and slashes do, where it's going to get really repetitive. Just the style is that like it's almost like rock, paper, scissors. The person, they have 3 ways they can attack: up, left, or right. And you have to change the way you block based on which way they go and then counter. So I think
reminds me of Rise, Son of Rome.
Yeah, I mean the style is like that, but I mean Rise, Son of Rome was one of the like easiest hack and slash games I've played, and I've played Dynasty Warriors. Like it was stupidly easy. But I think I'm looking forward to the game, but I don't expect it to be like this amazing game because it from what they put in so far, it looks like it's just going to be the same thing over and over.
Okay, just a question: how many of us here watched the Ubi's conference? Because I know we agreed that we didn't, but Messi, I don't know about you.
I think I watched most of it. Like what they had the one skiing one.
Yeah, right? I heard about that.
Yeah, that looks actually awesome. I'm not gonna lie. Like the fact, like it's gonna be kind of boring, but the cool part is just that how the graphics look. It would be cooler if they were able to do it in I don't think it's for the Vive, is it, or for the Rift?
Vive. God damn it, dude.
I don't know what to say, man.
I'm telling you, it's Vive.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone say Vive or whatever.
I've heard it. Vive, but Vive.
It's V-I-V-E. It's definitely not Viv.
Vive, whatever.
Yeah. Vive.
But I think the game has promise, but it's gonna fall in the problem with all those like snowboarding games where it's like, okay, you do it once, scenes were cool. You're gonna do it twice, cool. I did all the tricks. Do it 3, it's like, then you do it 4, you're like, I don't want to play this game.
They need a story where like one of the other skiers gets really angry with you and starts trying to sabotage your runs.
Well, it's not like campaign at all. It's all multiplayer, like with your friends. So one guy's on like you choose the one that you want, but you're able to have like a snowboard, ski, and hang glider and wingsuit, I believe.
Here's a general bad.
It's going to be ugly.
Just E3 this year in general felt very bland. Is the word I wanted.
You know, we say that, but we did spend half an hour talking about the stuff that we liked.
But nothing stood out.
Yeah.
I guess
feel like
not, yeah.
Me being like somebody who like wanted to be a communications major, like these guys were really bad. Like the people they chose to do all their stuff were really bad at talking.
Oh yeah, it's always a travesty.
It made me really sad. Like these people, like they had a really bad like style. Like they couldn't get
people or spokespeople.
Huh?
Microsoft probably did the best for spokespeople.
Yeah.
Ubisoft,
No, EA.
I think Ubisoft always does the worst.
Did you say no EA? There was this dude at the EA conference who looked like he was like literally turning into a tomato as the fucking conference was going on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, I gotta stand by Ubisoft always has the worst presenters. Remember Mr. Caffeine? Fucking Mr. Caffeine. And I have trouble with the Bethesda presenters because a lot of them have these accents I have trouble deciphering.
I didn't really have an issue with their accents. There was one person though that I didn't really like. And then probably the worst ones from Microsoft were the fucking Minecraft people. They're always horrible.
Oh, they're so awkward. It's like they put 10-year-olds in adult suits.
The Minecraft ones, that was terrible.
For Ubisoft, they had people do Trials of the Blood Dragon, which is kind of a stupid game. It's mixing Trials and then with just a platform shooter. But the people who did that were just like really like they were overly like they tried to make it look like they were doing like a WWE tag team like intro, and like the whole time I'm watching that, like I was crying. Like it was not even crying because it was funny. Like I'm crying because I felt bad for these people. Like they just looked like complete idiots. It was me like it was horrible. Like how they like must have just came up with that. They're like, hey, let's release this game today. And they're like, oh no, we don't have anyone to present it. And like two people in the crowd are like, hey, I'll do it. Like that's what it seemed like.
Yeah, let's just pull Bill from accounting and Ted from the render farm.
Yeah.
I'm glad I opened up Google Chrome and I immediately saw Todd Howard's face.
Yeah, see, every presenter needs to take a look at the great presenters. Take a look at great presenters: Steve Jobs, Todd Howard, to a lesser extent Steve Ballmer. But I just like to see the pit stains; those are hilarious. Take a look at those guys. Those guys know how to present and get a crowd excited. Steve Ballmer, he's just
there was that one guy who used to do the Nintendo ones that was pretty good. He was like a Hispanic guy.
Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. But I really don't know. Like, I guess Ubisoft has their version of trying when they hire Aisha Tyler to be their spokesperson, but then they don't train their actual people in public speaking.
Yeah.
Did they talk about the Assassin's Creed movie at all at E3? Because E3 is technically entertainment.
Yes, they did for 1 minute. It was like at the very end.
They had
for
some behind the scenes stuff I watched.
Did they? Oh.
Yeah,
I think I passed out.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually excited for this movie.
Okay, so since we're talking about the entertainment side of E3, 2 years ago, Microsoft had their Halo thing, which announced MCC, Halo 5 had a teaser, I think, and they also announced a third product called Halo the TV series.
I forgot about that.
We haven't seen it since.
That turned into that thing with Idris Elba, right?
No, it didn't. That's what I thought too. But it didn't. That was actually a different project that they were planning from the beginning with MCC.
Which TV show?
The Halo TV series. It was going to be produced by Steven Spielberg.
And it was going to air on Xbox Live. In a similar way to Powers is on PlayStation 4, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and they were going to do this thing, and it just never happened. Nothing ever came out of it. And if you ask 343, they'll say they're still working on it, but we don't know what's going on.
See, that's a mistake that a lot of people make when they're talking about their TV shows and their movies and anything that's so early in production. People want to talk about the cool stuff that they are planning to do, but they don't have the patience to wait until it's a definitive thing. What
they should have done is they should have thrown it into a Kickstarter and then seen how many people wanted it and then made the thing out of that.
Yeah, because fucking Microsoft needs to do a Kickstarter.
And it's not necessarily a money thing, but you see that there's an audience there, and it gives people creative drive to actually do something.
I don't know. I think Microsoft, of all people, doing a Kickstarter would have backfired in some spectacular fashion.
Big companies do Kickstarters all the time.
Big companies are not all big companies are fucking Microsoft. Like you think of tech giants, you think of Microsoft and Apple, and Microsoft does not need help to make. Microsoft does not need financial help to make anything. It's
not the financial part though. It'd almost be like if they made a poll. Is more what they're they're going.
I think Kickstarter is actually a good way to do a poll though.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Like Kickstarter is almost a poll where you'd see how bad do people want this.
And since Spielberg was the one actually producing it, that's also another thing to think about.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, it's not there, so I mean, it's what it is. I feel like overall, the E3 was just bad overall. It seemed like a lot of people, this kind of took a background for a lot of press.
I'm not going to say it was bad. I just feel like it was just uneventful. Yeah, I don't think it was bad. I think it was a good show while you were watching. It was just nothing really I feel like this year's game season, which is holiday season, we all know this. Mm-hmm. I feel like we'll have a few games that we're interested in, but a lot of the games that we are actually really, really interested in are not coming out until 2017.
Oh yeah, that's the thing with everything.
So okay, guys, each of you kind of we should each say give almost an example of how they could make it better. How they could like get their people to be more energetic and like get the crowd pumped for the games. Like how could they do that?
Probably I would say take a cue from somebody like people at Bethesda is a good example here with their last year E3 conference, where they need their companies to shut their fucking mouths. Don't leak shit. Like leaking is bad. So like get your companies all locked up and shit, and then hire good PR people and have them do the presentations. And then when you're ready to announce something, make sure it comes out like 7 months or 6 months after. Nothing more than that. Because then it generates enough hype to where you're pretty much good. You could offer nothing after that. Like maybe a trailer a few weeks from release. But you don't need another big event to announce more details.
Or fuck, even like with Fallout Shelter, they announced
Day one
it
releases
day
are also
one.
good too.
They announced that the day it came out.
Yeah. Those always give really good press to conferences. Like if somebody says it's available right now, people fucking lose their shit.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Can I go next?
Oh yeah,
Sure.
We need to keep you
We're
away.
just talking about like the way like presenters like how they should present their stuff better.
Yeah.
All right, I got a lot of things.
Do I have to cut
Now
this?
I'm gonna
you're
take a
gonna
nap.
cut- You have to cut every 10 seconds of it.
Jesus.
But basically, what I think they should do is like so they should really I think it was cool with Fallout 4 how they announced it and then they're like, oh yeah, this will be out and this will be out in like 4 months or whatever. I think they should start doing that rather than saying, hey, this is coming out like saying like 3 years or 4 years in advance.
You know what? I think one of the best things that Todd Howard ever said for Fallout 4 was when he's messing around with the workshop and he repeats the same line, it just works.
Which was great at the time because we were just getting off of a release schedule where every single fucking game was broken as dicks.
Mm-hmm. And this is a new, kind of complicated system, at least on the surface it looks complicated. And he's reassuring us throughout the entire presentation, it just works.
My last thing before I'm done with mine,
Yes.
I think one thing that would really get people hyped up is just things like Ellen, where like they just have things like, oh, everyone here they get free something under the chair,
That's Oprah's
and then
thing.
you guys can pick this up for $5 online.
Actually somebody did that actually.
I think
Wait, and then you guys shoot T-shirts out at them advertising your game.
Microsoft, I think they gave everybody a controller.
Oh, really? That'd be cool.
God, that must have been expensive.
And they're making it whatever their pocket. That's why they had to do a Kickstarter, Andy.
You got me there. Okay, here's my take on this. Since what you need to do to get these presenters excitable and energetic and interesting is you go to Microsoft, you take Steve Ballmer, the human pit stain. You go to Ubisoft, you take Mr. Caffeine with his... You get those two in a room together. You put on some Barry White, you get them to make some sweet love, and whatever they produce, you put that on a stage. Give it a microphone.
I'm glad that we're serious about this.
You put that abomination of nature up on a stage, give it a microphone, and have it present your game. Because that thing is going to be the most entertaining creature that humanity has ever produced.
I raised you, God Howard.
God Howard. and God Howard is the godfather of this child. Alright. Have we all had our say about that?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's
now we move on
to the ugly.
Wait, that wasn't
Okay.
yet. Wait, what?
We were talking
We
about
do that yet?
Stay awake.
Oh wait, we're.
Do you have anything else that you think was bad but not horrible?
No, I'm good.
Good talk.
Okay.
Alright. Let's talk about the EA conference.
Yay.
They had,
Let me
the most-
strap on my
number one thing-
fanboy suit real quick.
For the most part, they had jack shit to show.
Blanket statement, this was the EA motto for this year. Okay, this is EA. We have nothing to show except for sports and Battlefield.
Yep, and Titanfall 2.
But that was like mostly post-show stuff.
For 3 years in a row, they've said, "Hey, we're making Mass Effect. We don't have anything to show for it." But
they showed more of that than anything that they're doing with Star Wars. They announced what companies are making Star Wars games, and then they showed some in-game footage. Which wasn't... It was fucking pre-alpha footage of some game that's coming out. And it was like 3 seconds.
Mass Effect, they showed a smiling Asari.
No, they showed a looking around main character.
Okay,
and a lot of ships.
And they showed the chick at the end who says, "We made it." But I'm thinking about this now.
It wasn't too bad for like a legit trailer. It's just, I hope we get to see something around November or something.
They said that they're going to have some stuff to tell us in the fall. And for a game that comes out early 2017, that seems a bit late to start telling us about it.
And 7 days sounds like the perfect day.
When is that?
November 17th.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
November 7th, not 17th. What the fuck?
Dingus.
I mean, EA has this problem though. They have to put a lot of like effort into their sports games. They don't have a choice. They have to.
Cows.
No, not even that. It's that they're expected to make one every year, and they have to pay a lot of money to get the rights to use the teams, the players, and the name. Like NFL and the NBA.
Like about that because it could be the companies enlisting the EA to make these games.
No, it's not.
That's how it works.
It's not at all. It is not. Because EA is getting more from this than Madden is. So EA is paying Madden. Like, I'm pretty sure that there's a reason that the original like Madden games sports games a long time ago, they didn't have like characters' names. They didn't have actual teams. It was just the game itself. It's because you have to spend so much money to like paying all these corporations. So they're forced to like, if you think about the FIFA, they have like 200, not 200. It's close to over 100 teams that they have to pay just to use their name, their logos, and their players. So they have to put so much effort into these games that it almost makes it to where EA Sports gets all this like money and time, and then the rest of the games are kind of like shoved to the backfield. That's their problem, especially because now Madden and NBA and FIFA are like some of the biggest selling games. They're expected to be better every year and have these new features.
Better. Hey, let's give them a graphics upgrade and a roster update. There we go, done.
Not even a graphics
Pretty much.
upgrade.
Yeah.
I'll say this: I have zero interest in sports games other than this. I am very excited to see the next FIFA game so I can see all the glitches.
I'm so looking forward to FIFA. Just because they finally put a story into it.
I still play wrestling games, so...
Yeah. You've got that badge of honor.
I think the WWE isn't even non-for-profit like the NFL is, so I think they probably have to pay them even more. I may be wrong on that one. That's a shot in the dark.
2K makes the WWE games now, so...
Okay, I didn't know that.
Speaking of 2K, I'm pretty sure this is 2K. Did 2K publish Borderlands?
Yes.
Okay, then 2K is also the company that publishes Battleborn, which is the MOBA-ish first-person shooter that made the poor decision of trying to compete with Overwatch. And came out just before Overwatch, actually, and is already like 40% off in the Xbox Live Store. And they are recently announcing that they're opening a cash-only cosmetic shop. Like, not even 2 months into the game.
Yeah, they lower the prices to compete with Overwatch.
And it is incredible. Like, this game... I feel like there was a lot of hype around the game when it first was announced, but then there wasn't a whole lot of marketing that went into it until a few months before it came out.
Nobody was expecting... At first, nobody was expecting Overwatch to literally shit gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes with the problem where Blizzard had so much money.
Yeah.
They really did. Like they had cinematic trailers that they were putting on like everywhere on TV. Like,
Dude, I would
while-
see an Overwatch trailer every single time I went to the movies for like 4 months.
Messi, I have
Yeah,
a question
and-
for you.
Yeah,
You probably know more about how Blizzard operates than I do, right?
maybe.
Why
Maybe
the
not.
hell do they not just open up an animation studio? Because
Uh,
their
it-
cinematics are incredible.
Well, I really don't know. It's almost to the point where that's actually not a very good market.
I think so.
I mean, think about how their
make
Warcraft
movies.
movie, think about how their Warcraft movie is turning out. Like a lot of people are saying it's awful.
Well, yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. That is
Are you
So-
talking like through like the effect of like Blur, who just makes cutscenes?
I mean, maybe in a similar vein, Blizzard basically cuts out the middleman and does what most companies have a hard time doing, which is producing their own amazing promotional material.
It's
I think
probably
what you're
because
getting at is that you want BioWare to hire Blizzard to fix the smiling issue.
I think that's what you're getting at, but I did
I
want to
think that's
touch
what you're
on.
getting at it. At your core, you're seeing that shepherd smile.
I have latched on to this smiling thing because ever since that smiling Asari showed up in the EA conference, I've been looking several times a day. I find myself looking at this picture that compares 2010 Shepard smiling in Mass Effect 2, where he looks like he's gonna rape me through the TV screen, and then this 2016 Asari that still has this like uncanny valley thing going on. Smiles aren't difficult, I don't think, are they?
yeah, smiling is actually one of the most difficult things to portray.
Is
Like if you
it?
think about it, like painting, like there's a reason the Mona Lisa is considered one of the greatest paintings ever. It's because the human smile is so hard to replicate.
But Overwatch, I think, did smiles really well. There's some pretty happy characters, and they smile pretty damn well.
But you don't see that in game. You see it in animations, like actual cutscenes,
Okay, I guess so.
where it's a little bit easier. Trying to get it in game with the without it having so much detail that it just looks off. Because if you put too much detail in the smile and not as much into everything else, and it just looks off, that it's really hard to just manage.
And I guess that is true because in the way that Mass Effect works is they don't really have cutscenes. They do in-engine, like, none of their cutscenes are pre-rendered. They are rendering on the
ship.
fly.
Banger.
Yeah, goddamn.
It comes down to logistics, like the ability to do it.
Yeah.
They have the ability to do it, yes, but it's not really worth how much effort would be put into it.
Alright. I still...
The Halo series seems to be going away from in-engine cutscenes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're doing pre-rendered like a boss.
So wait, I have a question. Like, Andy, did you ever play Until Dawn?
I watched it.
So do you remember seeing like the what's the guy that you get the cutscenes with? Almost not really cutscenes, but he's the
psychiatrist.
yeah, psychiatrist. Did you ever see the parts where he'd like slam down, look at you, and then smile?
I haven't. I don't think.
Like it's very awkward looking, and that is with like an actual person doing the smiling.
Yeah, that's with mocap.
Yeah, well, that's where motion capture. That's how hard smiling is. It's really hard. So it's always going to be that weird thing in video games for a long time where it's just going to look odd.
Ultimately, I think that is why the machines are going to rise up. They're going to be jealous of humanity's capacity for happiness.
Yeah. They're like, I'm so happy, but I don't know how to convey it.
Please don't tell me the airships are going to have skins.
In Battlefield?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense, actually.
Okay, just imagining a giant Hello Kitty fucking flying around.
I doubt it'll be like that. It's probably going to be realistic style.
I wouldn't expect the airships to be pilotable at all. I would expect them to be...
They're not, though. They're pilotable fully.
That's the big thing.
That is a bad idea in my book.
No, it'll be great.
I expected those to be either static objectives that you can go to, or something akin to a Levolution, where you can take up gunning positions.
It is.
Basically, what
Keep in
happens
mind,
is the
it a
losing team
Levolution
gets
or a
the
vehicle.
It's
losing
both.
team gets
it'll come in when the losing team is getting really close to losing, and it's on their side, and they can use that as a chance to catch up. And it's fully pilotable. You can fly it around wherever, but when it does crash, it affects the map underward.
I can see
it.
a lot of teams throwing the match just to get access to the Zeppelin.
At first, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's going to want to get it real quick just to see what it's like. So.
I think that's going to be harmful to the game at launch.
Yeah,
it'll
it's going to be
fine.
You don't seem very positive about that game so far.
Everyone is so excited about Battlefield 1, and it's just not grabbing my attention. I'm not impressed by anything I've seen for some reason.
You know.
I mean, they found a way to make World War I look fun, so...
Yeah, but, I mean, meanwhile, I am no fan of the Call of Duty franchise, and everyone hates the Infinite Warfare trailer, except for me. I think that actually looked like a good trailer.
Nobody wants a sci-fi COD game. They're not a sci-fi series. They shouldn't try to be a sci-fi series.
It looked like a cool sci-fi shooter.
Yeah,
that's the thing, though. With Call of Duty,
else other than Call of Duty.
But okay, that's the problem. That
hold on. Let me talk about this. What is the number one thing that people criticize Call of Duty for? They don't innovate. But the moment they try to innovate, people get up their butt about it.
Nowadays, people judge Call of Duty for being too futuristic.
But that's the problem. I feel like a lot of people get to this point where it's like, oh, Call of Duty is this. That this company, I can't remember which one's making it. It's Infinity, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's Infinity.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah, that makes sense with the name. But where they're stuck, and you can't make as Andy said, they're people want them to innovate, but the second they try to innovate in a style, it's bad. There's no way that they can innovate without making a futuristic game. That's the same thing Battlefield's doing. They're trying to make a game that's not the same as the past 4. So what are they doing? They're putting it into the past. They're just going the opposite way that Call of Duty has done.
Basically, Call of Duty missed the boat. They missed their opportunity to innovate, and now they're stuck in a rut. And now that they want to innovate, the criticism's getting to them, they can't get out of that rut. People are complaining that they're deviating from what is expected of them.
Yeah. People need to not look at it it'd be awesome if we could get to these games where we take away the name of the game and we look at the game itself. That's the problem a lot of people have. The expectation that people have for games is sometimes too high. Everyone's victim to it, where they see the game, they see the name, and they're like, oh my gosh, this game has to be amazing. And then it's it's good, but it's not as amazing as the hype was led up to, so then they think it's bad. That's what Call of Duty has. Call of Duty is always hyped up, but then it's not what people want, and they just think it's bad because it's not like the Call of Duty that they loved. What does everyone think about all these companies trying to get with the Vive?
Cool for me. Don't really care.
Yeah. I think it says a lot about how companies perceive Facebook and how Mark Zuckerberg does business, in that they don't.
Wait,
trust
what?
him.
The Vive? That's the Oculus, you dingus.
Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, asshole.
I heard you say Vive.
Keep going. Just keep going.
It says a lot that people don't trust Facebook, and by extension, Oculus, and they want to go to the Vive, which, depending on your preference, some see as superior hardware. I think I haven't gotten hands-on with either of them, but with all the commentary and discussion I've seen around the Vive and the Oculus, it's apples and oranges. They're both fruits, but people have their preference.
Yeah. The problem I have with these games is that really it feels like games aren't going to be as good on the Vive.
It's a stepping stool, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a stepping stool, but a lot of companies are putting a lot of effort into these virtual realities, which I'm worried is going to make the virtual reality flop, because these beginning games are not going to be good, so no one's going to want to play them.
But though, you go.
I mean, what you're saying is kind of like a weird paradox, though, because if they don't put effort into these games, then the thing's going to flop itself, because no games are going to be good on it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. They need to put effort into it, but I feel like they're putting too much effort.
What the hell does that mean?
every company has like quite a few games. Like Ubisoft has quite a few games. They have a Mass Effect one. They have their little Eagle one, and then all these games like
Mass Effect game.
Yeah, Ubisoft doesn't do Mass Effect.
I didn't say that, did I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
Wait, what? Ubisoft has Star Trek and the Eagle one, and then like there's another one I can't remember. Like, okay, they're making Final Fantasy 15 with the VR. Like all of these games have like VR like capabilities that I feel like it's gonna ruin the games. Like,
I see. You're getting to where VR is going to be done to death, where games that don't need to be in VR are being put into VR.
yeah, and then they're not going to be as good.
Like,
they're going to look worse.
I
They're
feel
going
like a
to
game
play worse.
If a game isn't in first person, it shouldn't be in VR. That's what I feel like.
yeah, I agree with that.
Even then, like, there's some games that just should not be virtual reality. Like, virtual reality, like, does very well with two types of games: platformers, I think, and like heavy adventure and like atmospheric games.
Yeah, I think a very untapped thing right now for VR is definitely RPGs like Skyrim and Fallout 4, which are coming to the Vive. So.
Something I would like to see a lot more of, though, is what the Star Trek game, that Star Trek game is providing is an online cooperative in avatar based environment. Is what where you have
so they're going to trap you in there, and then if you try to turn it off, it's going to kill you, right?
This isn't SAO.
That's once we start getting into haptic feedback. That's when you need to worry.
Okay.
This isn't Netgear. This is
We're
Vive.
getting there, okay?
I want full dive.
I want to be trapped where I could actually live my life.
I want to play an MMO where I'm in the MMO, and maybe a guy decides I don't get to leave the MMO, and maybe I meet a girl and they all die.
No. You know what it is? It's you go into the MMO and then you just live your life out. You're like, fuck all that trying to get out shit. I'm just gonna live my life.
But you gotta take a leak at some point.
You know.
No?
Catheter.
Bucket.
Before you start any VR game, wear a catheter.
No, you don't want a catheter. I've had a catheter. It's not good.
No
bueno.
No.
You don't want to stick anything in there. I mean, some people do, and God bless them, but Jesus Christ.
But yeah,
let's not go there.
I feel like virtual reality, it's like I really look forward to it, but just from all these games that have came out, like it seems like it's being overhyped, and it's kind of like I'm trying to think. Like there's some games, I can't think of one off the top of my head. I know there's like thousands of them every year that like their games get so hyped, like it's like their first game and it's supposed to be like this major game, but then it doesn't do that well or people didn't like it and then that company is done. That's what I'm worried is going to happen to these.
I'm in the same boat. Like, I know that these games exist and they are from like these startup companies, and they have buried the companies that make them. I just cannot think of any.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be a rocky start for VR just because we're not at the time, because VR headsets are fucking expensive. That's one thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then also the games that are coming out on these things are not compared to the AAA titles that we are seeing. So it's like, what's the point in buying this $1,000 machine? I'm throwing a really outrageous price out there. For a game that looks like it fucking was made in 2005.
Well, it's not even just like a $600 headset. You also have to either have or build a super crazy PC to run this VR experience.
Yeah, so the HTC Vive itself is $800.
Jesus.
God damn.
Yeah, not including tax, shipping, handling, different
for $400.
And I mean, you don't need the craziest PC to use the Vive, but like, I know the minimum graphics card is like a GTX 970.
Still,
like,
it's just
like 200.
It's too expensive for the output.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say you're kind of getting a new computer, also, and then you have the Vive. You have that. The GTX 970 is like it's 260. That's the lowest I see it. So just for the graphics card you have to get, and for the headset, you're over $1,000. That's not including a motherboard. It's not including a processor, which is going to be even more expensive than a graphics card. It's not including everything else you need. And you're looking at like a 2,000 to probably close range to get into this, and then you still have to get the games. You have to hope that doesn't flop. You have so much to worry about.
I think the best way to get us into VR would have been to not jump into gaming machines right away, but to start off with your whatever Microsoft was doing, their augmented reality thing. That was a great place. That was a good place to step off, where you still have stuff gripped in reality, like it's just a camera through. It's just you're looking through a lens, and then you can build up from there. Like the way that they were doing it, it was like it would have been a really good tool for things like Office and shit, to where you have like these holograms that you can see at your table and shit.
The problem there is that those are two very different technologies.
But augmented reality does build into virtual reality, though. But like, if you get the graphical capability there, you'll be able to move on.
Here's the thing, though: VR combines high resolution 3D technology with high graphical fidelity and a 3D environment and interactability with whatever controls you have. AR, augmented reality, that is heavily reliant on it's heavily on the headset's ability to contextualize what is around it and the ability to superimpose things over these surfaces, and in some versions of this technology, the ability for the headset to track what the user is doing, whether it be with their hands or their eyes.
Yeah.
There is some similar technology in terms of eye and hand tracking, but they are very different in what they do at their core.
Okay, I think we've come close, really, with how long we've talked about this. Yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think virtual reality is now, and what it could be in the future? Like, what do you expect of it? I should say.
I think that virtual, like, remember when, like, okay, so like, you had your 3D movies in the early 2000s where you had to wear the red and cyan glasses, right?
Yeah.
And that was awful. And there was even 3D before that, and that was even worse. But now we have, like, I can go to a movie theater, and the best 3D movie experience I've ever had was last year when I went to see Jurassic World. And that was actually my first 3D movie in the new 3D technology. And that was incredible. What I think we're seeing with VR is it's in that stage where it's gonna be really good, and you think it's gonna be a gimmick that's gonna go away, but it's gonna stick, and it's gonna get better.
I can't say that 3D movies have stuck, though. To be honest,
you don't think so? Every movie,
I think IMAX stuck way better than 3D.
Yeah, but that's not everywhere. Every movie that's not like a straight up comedy comes out in 3D. Action movies, I think even horror movies come out in 3D.
Yeah, from what I know, just like from the people that I know around me, I know that none of us are interested in a 3D movie just because it's just not as enjoyable to sit and watch a movie with glasses on your eyes. And it's just, there's something about it that's just not as enjoyable. And I feel like the idea of looking through a lens and then looking at the screen just takes you out of it a little bit.
Yeah, but, well, if you're like, well, personally, I thought I would have a problem because I wear glasses and I was putting glasses over my glasses. But there came to be a point where for me, I just forgot I was wearing 3D glasses and I was looking at this 3D image. And my brain accepted it.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe we will have a similar thing with VR where people won't be able to stop thinking about the weight on their head and the fact that there's a screen in front of them, but there will be other people who can suspend their disbelief and just get immersed in the experience.
I think VR is a lot more comparable to actually like the rise of consoles. to where people are worried that it's going to impact the actual development of games, and like our game's going to be hampered because they're trying to make a VR experience. Kind of like how PC gamers were worried when consoles were starting to get big about consoles hampering the PC gaming environment.
We've talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly of E3 2016.
Yep. All right. See
Final-
you guys next year.
Goodbye.
Shut up. It was 2 years from the last one. All right.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Good job,
we'll be
boys.
back. Hopefully we'll be back the next time there's something big to talk about.
1, 2, 3, break!